Hey y'all, here are OS Reviews. In this video, we're taking a quick look at the Awei T56 ANC. These are a pair of wireless buds that have a built-in LCD display, making it just a little bit smarter and perhaps slightly more convenient versus opening up an app on your phone to control those properties. That being said, this is a concept that we have seen before from companies like JBL, as well as more recently there was a pair from Blitzwolf, the FYE16, that also touted similar functions. In fact, they might be even running on the same operating system. It's just the drivers as well as the design of the buds and the case being a little bit different. That being said, Awei is a brand that has been producing audio products for a little longer, perhaps slightly more reputable compared to Blitzwolf. The overall presentation, including an authentic product sticker, just feels a bit more carefully presented. But subsequently, you are paying a little bit more for that brand as well. This retails for a little bit north of $55, which is not bad in the grand scheme of things for a model that has active noise cancellation and still a fairly decent design going on, but it is about $10 more than the Blitzwolf more generic packaged version. Some other top-line specs include a fairly up-to-date version of Bluetooth 5.4, although audio codecs are the standard AAC and SBC. There is no support for, say, aptX or LDAC on this particular model. IPX6 for splash-proof as well as sweat-proof, rain-proof. You also get 10mm dynamic drivers on these particular buds. With around 6 to 7 hours of continuous music listening, the case will get you a combined total of a little under 30 hours when you're on the road, which is also not bad, quite average there. Some spare silicone tips and a USB Type-C charging cable are also included. You can tap on the button down below here to actually turn on the touchscreen, and there's also a slide to unlock function to prevent any accidental triggers. Let's take a closer look at the case design here first. It's crafted out of a polycarbonate plastic, which is coarse in its material. That is one difference versus the Blitzwolf version that is covered with a soft touch rubber. What I do like though is the Awei case is going to be a touch slimmer as well as not quite as tall, making it slightly easier to slide into pockets. And here's another comparison with the Eco Active buds, another pair of wireless buds that also have a display here, but these are much more flagship level because they are technically running on an Android operating system with built-in cellular as well as Wi-Fi. It can be thought of as kind of a mini phone alternative compared to these still have to be paired with a regular smartphone or computer to work. They have just normal Bluetooth built in. It's just having a display here on the front, but not bad all things considered when it comes to overall footprint and size. Otherwise, the battery case just has the regular Type-C port for charging at the bottom. There is no Qi wireless charging support on this particular model. The buds themselves have a design that is reminiscent of something like the AirPod Pros, but it's a little bit more shiny, and they house touch controls for pretty much all functions, including play, pause, skip tracks, turning on ANC, as well as volume by long holding on the left and the right sides to raise it higher or lower, plus going into the low latency gaming mode by triple tap. There's also a status LED light, some additional microphones, and the actual mesh here is crafted out of fabric on this particular model. Otherwise, it's a pretty comfortable wearing experience, doesn't feel to be too bulky. Even after around 3 to 4 hours of continuous music listening, didn't provide too much stress or strain, feeling comfortable enough. Now, a closer look at the UI of the case here. After pairing with your phone, you're able to control music by playing, pausing, as well as skipping tracks from here if desired. Time information will also be synced over from your phone. You can swipe over here to change the screen timeout duration, once more to change the volume level, or transition between ANC versus audio transparency, aka ambient mode, providing you with some awareness of what's happening around you even without removing them. That being said, it looks like the intensity of the ANC and also the transparency mode isn't adjustable, so it's just one default level. It's not really adaptive like on some higher end wireless buds that we've been seeing lately. And you can also swipe over to change the equalizer. Options here include normal versus rock. There's also classical, jazz, a quote-unquote custom mode, although there is no kind of frequency slider. It looks like they're able to adjust yourself, but some of those can be played around with. Now, the labeling I do find to be perhaps not the most accurate. For example, Village is referring to folk, but again, it's kind of a strange label to give it, so perhaps that's an area that can be improved on with a next generation model, but it is what it is. Now, by the way, these do not come with any companion app support because all the features are already essentially found on the battery case. So you aren't able to further customize, for example, remapping the controls of the touch sensors on the buds with a mobile app. Maybe that's another feature that would be nice to find though for even more customization, perhaps again in a next generation model. You're able to see though the battery percentage remaining in the case, as well as the left and the right sides. And the touchscreen of the battery case is not bad when it comes to overall responsiveness. It's an IPS LCD screen with adequate viewing angles as well and sensitivity, all things considered, so seeing it, controlling it wasn't too problematic. Swiping again takes us through some lock screen wallpapers that we can also customize. Here's a couple of other examples just to serve as reference. That being said, again, since there is no app support, you're not able to push over your custom wallpaper, which is a bit of a shame, so you can't set your own photo as the image instead. And similarly, there is no built-in memory on the case itself, so it's not able to be used as a dedicated MP3 player if you're not connected to your phone. That is a secondary feature that would have been nice to find, and one that I believe Blitzwolf is addressing in their revision of these first generation buds that they are bringing to market soon, which will come with something like 4 or 8 gigabytes of built-in storage, similar to an iPod. However, again, that's a feature not currently found on this particular pair of Awei buds. Now, the final tab here allows us to go into either listening to music or going into the gaming mode, as well as movie watching mode. Both of these will just decrease the latency, but will compress the audio a little bit more, so if you're listening to the music mode, it will provide you with the most details. Overall transmission quality though was pretty decent. I felt like it didn't have too much static or distortion when listening to music, didn't really get too much disconnections, and felt like a clean overall listening experience. You can also locate the left and right buds if you tap on this particular function, and reminding you to remove them, and then it will blast out a sound at pretty much the maximum level capable of using the drivers until you have located them. And here is going to be a flashlight that just turns the entire screen here white to illuminate objects a little bit better in the dark, kind of borrowing a function found on some smartwatches, and also the ability for you to change into some other languages as well. Last but not least, there is a basic stopwatch function that you can also activate on here. So again, it's borrowing some features found on smartwatches and kind of producing a hybrid of sorts using this touchscreen. When it comes to the audio quality and performance, and that is still the most important part of any pair of wireless buds, I would say that these are performing decently. Even though they're not necessarily groundbreaking, it still produces solid audio overall with satisfying enough depth and bass. So genres like pop, in addition to rock, EDM, all sounded pretty decent for just, again, exercise, enjoying some of your tracks with. Again, they're not really audiophile grade buds, so if you're being super nitpicky, areas including the chipset, as well as even the drivers, are a bit more conventional and not really cutting edge in this regard, but it still produces cheerful, solid, if not basic sound that is loud enough, doesn't sound too thin for the music to still be enjoyable, all things considered, as $50 buds. And for that matter, ANC also worked effectively enough, so when you turn it on, there is definitely a noticeable difference in drowning out some of the lower frequency sounds like engines if you're traveling by car. Fan noises as well get repressed pretty nicely. So that is more or less it as far as our quick hands-on review of the Awei T56 ANC wireless buds. So it's among the growing slew of, again, buds that now have some type of display integrated into the case, because it's rumored that Apple will be coming out with perhaps the next generation pair of their AirPod Pros, borrowing a similar design like these. And it's not a bad idea. Some of the controls, including the ability for you to play pause music directly on here, as well as change the EQ, are indeed pretty convenient. Sound quality of this particular unit is also not shabby for just $50 buds at the end of the day. So in that regard, it's not too different from some of the existing models that we have checked out previously, primarily just with a slightly different design. So if interested, you can check out more details in the links down below. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. Again, that's been the Awei T56 ANC TWS wireless buds.